There are movies that take you back to your childhood, movies that feel they were made just for the kid in all of us. And then there's Pacific Rim, a film that doesn't just transport you to those days of playing with action figures, but it feels it was created by someone who never stopped. Guillermo del Toro's epic homage to classic monster movies isn't just another blockbuster, it's a homage to a genre, to imagination, and to the magic of scale. Today, we are revisiting Pacific Rim, exploring how this film, released in 2013, has not only aged remarkably well, but has carved its own place in modern cinema history. Let's dive and rediscover why Pacific Rim is more than just Jaegers and Kaiju, it's a dream brought to life. When Pacific Rim was first released in 2013, it felt like a breath of fresh air in the landscape of big budget CGI heavy blockbusters. But even more than that, it was something uniquely personal, a project that felt like Guillermo del Toro reaching back to his childhood and breathing life into the gigantic action figures he once played with. Watching Pacific Rim today, it's clear that Del Toro wasn't just making another monster movie, he was crafting an epic homage to the classic era of kaiju film. It's been 10 years since its release, and this film has aged remarkably well, its sense of wonder and imagination only growing stronger. Del Toro pays tribute to the iconic monster movies of the 1950s and 60s, films like Godzilla and King Kong that defined a generation of cinema. But what's remarkable is how he elevates these influences. Instead of simply replicating the formula, Del Toro injects his own voice, blending nostalgia with modern sensibilities. The result is a film that not only honors the past but also stands firmly on its own, bursting with the director's distinct creativity. It feels like Del Toro finally got a chance to relive his childhood, only this time with the resources to build colossal robots and even bigger monsters. One of the standout elements in Pacific Rim is how Del Toro stages the battles between the Jaegers and the Kaiju. These fights are not just visually stunning, but they are staged with a sense of weight and power that makes every blow feel massive. Unlike many modern action films, where spectacle can become overwhelming and disconnected from reality, Del Toro ensures that the audience can feel the sheer scale of the encounters. The Jaegers and the Kaiju move with a sense of gravity that grounds the action, making it feel both epic and tangible. There's a kind of raw energy in the way Jaegers are piloted, requiring two humans to drift and share a neural load. It's a concept that's not just cool, but deeply human, tying the machinery to the characters in a way that amplifies the stakes. One of the most striking elements of Pacific Rim is its epic soundtrack composed by Ramin Djawadi. The music in this film doesn't just accompany the visuals, it drives them, anchoring the story's grand scale and intensity. Djawadi's score is one of those rare soundtracks that feels almost inseparable from the images on screen, and it's one of the key reasons why Pacific Rim has aged so well. Take the main theme, for example, those pounding guitar riffs and soaring strings anchored by a rhythmic beat that perfectly captures the Jaeger's immense power.
Recorded percussion, strings, and brass. Those are the big three elements that we did separate, and then all the other solo instruments, the air hoop, the guitar, all that was done separate.
The theme is instantly recognizable and incredibly cool, giving the film a distinct auditory identity that sets it apart from other action blockbusters. The opening track, Pacific Rim, blasts through the speakers as we are introduced to the Jaegers, immediately setting the tone for the entire film. It's heroic, bold, and grand, mirroring the towering scale of the robots and monsters. Another standout piece is Gypsy Danger, the theme that plays during some of the most intense battle scenes in the movie. This track blends heavy percussions with an electric guitar, giving it a modern, gritty feel that feels perfectly suited to the Jaeger's mechanical might. It's not just the background music, it's the heartbeat of the action, intensifying every punch, every clash between metal and flesh. Djawadi's score also knows when to dial it down, adding emotional depth to the film. In Mako, we hear a softer, more introspective theme that reflects the tragic backstory of Mako Mori. The strings here are delicate, almost melancholic, giving us a rare, quiet moment amidst the chaos. It's a reminder that Pacific Rim isn't just about spectacle, it's also about the human connection that power these massive machines. The way the score transitions from bombastic battle themes to emotional resonance shows Jawadi's versatility as a composer and how well he understood the core of this film. What makes Jawadi's soundtrack so essential to Pacific Rim is that it mirrors the film's sense of scale and wonder, whether it's the soaring heroics of the main theme or the tension building strings during the quieter moments. The music becomes the part of the film's DNA. It's hard to imagine the towering Jaegers and terrifying Kaiju without Jawadi's score, echoing in the background, making every scene feel larger than life. Even now, years after the film's release, the soundtrack remains one of the most memorable and celebrated aspects, a testament to how music can elevate a film to iconic status.
Coming in too fast! Brace for it, Marco!
Another reason Pacific Rim has aged so well is its immersive world building. Guillermo del Toro doesn't just give us giant robots and monsters, he creates an entire mythology, a world with its own rules, history, and technology that pulls us in and keeps us invested. What makes Pacific Rim stand out from other films in the genre is how intricately Del Toro and his team crafted the world behind the battles. One of the most fascinating aspects of the film is the mythology surrounding the kaiju. These aren't just mindless monsters wreaking havoc for no reason, they are bioengineered weapons sent by an advanced alien race known as the Precursors. The Precursors exist in another dimension and are responsible for creating the kaiju to invade Earth and terraform it for their own purposes. The idea that kaiju are controlled by something greater, an unseen force pulling the strings, adds a layer of complexity to what could have been a straightforward monster movie. It raises the stakes. This isn't just about defending against giant creatures, it's about a full scale invasion orchestrated by an intelligence far more powerful than humanity. The precursor backstory makes the kaiju more terrifying because they are no longer just random monsters. They are an invasion force sent in waves to overwhelm human defenses. Each kaiju is designed for a purpose, whether it's brute strength, speed, or the ability to withstand different environments. In fact, in Pacific Rim, each kaiju seems to be evolving and adapting, a deliberate strategy by the precursors to push the limits of human technology. This creates a compelling conflict where humanity must constantly innovate with the Jaegers to stay ahead, building a sense of urgency throughout the film. Then there's the technology behind the Jaegers, the drift concept, where two pilots synchronize their minds to control a Jaeger, brings a deeply human element to this mechanical warfare. It's not enough to just be strong or skilled, the pilots must have an emotional and mental connection, sharing memories and thoughts to operate the machine as one. This adds a layer of tension and drama, as we see with Riley and Mako, whose relationship grows as they learn to drift together. It also creates a sense of vulnerability, since the pilots are exposed to each other's deepest fears and traumas during the drift. The Jaegers, though massive and powerful, are only strong as the bond between their pilots. Del Toro's attention to detail is evident everywhere, from the specific designs of each Jaeger to the different categories of the Kaiju, classified by their threat levels. This meticulous world building isn't just window dressing, it informs every aspect of the story. The film never feels like it's trying to rush through its set pieces. Instead, it takes the time to build a fully fleshed out universe where every decision has weight and history. By creating this unique mythology, Pacific Rim elevates itself beyond just another monster film. It becomes a world you want to revisit, one that feels lived in, with its own language and history. Even the smaller details, like the existence of kaiju worshippers or the black market for kaiju organs, add to the richness of the world. And that's one of Del Toro's greatest strengths. He's not just telling a story, he's building a world you can get lost in. Years later, Pacific Rim still stands out as a unique and personal vision. Guillermo del Toro didn't just make a movie, he crafted an experience, one that speaks to the child inside all of us, who once believed in heroes, monsters, and worlds larger than life. It's a film that pays homage to a bygone era while creating something entirely its own mythology, its own language, and its own sense of wonder. And as we revisit it today, we realize that Pacific Rim isn't just a movie that aged well, it's a film that grows more special with time because at its heart, it's about imagination, passion, and the joy of watching dreams unfold on the biggest stage possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed revisiting Pacific Rim with me and want to dive deeper into more films, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you are new here, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming video essays. I would love to hear your thoughts on Pacific Rim in the comments below. How do you think the film has aged? Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay curious, stay captivated, and discover the depth of cinema on Cinema Discourse.